What's up, everybody? Mason back with Mr. B Tactical. Today, we're going to be talking about a pretty cool device, specifically the PVS14 Gen 3 Elbit PH monocular night vision device. I'm excited about this episode. This is something that I've been really interested in for a while, and in the last couple months I've done a lot of researches. There's so much that goes into night vision in your purchase. Everything from how it ranges in the nighttime, the specs and what each spec on the sheet does, how it performs compared to a Gen 2 or Gen 2 Plus tube, the specifics of Gen 3 and how it's only available in the United States, things like that. And hopefully this video will break some of that down for you so then you can understand it and maybe be able to make a purchase for yourself in the future. So before we dive in, if you like content like this or anything in the 2A tactical realm, please make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And that really helps us get our message and our videos out to others, as well as beat the algorithm so that people who might be interested in it can find us. Before we jump in, I want to talk about this right here. So this was purchased, but also sent to me by a guy in a night vision group I found on Facebook who made it. And I thought it was pretty cool that he was able to do the channel logo. So on a separate note, let's dive in. First, you always want to protect your night vision. It is an expensive ordeal to get into, and you want to make sure that at the end of the day, you are able to protect it. These are not cheap. They are definitely expensive. All right, so I have an Apache case from Harbor Freight. It's basically a clone or knockoff of a Pelican at a third, fourth, even a fifth of the price. Okay, so the things we're going to talk about first is the night vision itself. This right here is a PVS14 monocular housing. It is a Noctis housing, which is the industry standard. It is phenomenal. It's a great housing. The guy I bought it from provided a J-arm, which you need to mount it to your head or whatever mounting solution that you're running. What's cool about this is the AX14 Pro from Noise Fighters. It is a polymer design, which makes it a little bit more lightweight. It is also dual articulation. So it pivots on this point access right here, as well as right here on the dove mount. I have a little bit tighter so it doesn't pivot as easy. The dovetail right here connects into whatever mounting solution you run, whether that be a Wilcox G24, a Nocturne Alpha mount, a Kydex mount. There's quite a few out there on the market. So that's going to be kind of your industry standard or what things have gone towards nowadays. We're going to talk a little bit about the housing. Like I said, it's a PVS14. It has a diopter lens in the back. It's fully mil-spec Noctis or cage housing. And then the front is going to be your objective lens, which is how you focus. I am also running an iris system right here. It controls the amount of light that comes into your device, and it just helps you see things a little bit clearer, and also, like I said, protects it a little bit more when you have highlight coming in. This device specifically is a little bit older technology and runs off a AA battery, a single AA battery. Generally speaking, it's recommended that you use alkaline batteries due to the old technology. However, lithium is the way to go. I have some alkalines right here just to use them for now. I do have lithium that I'm going to be switching to. Lithium provides quite a few advantages. Number one, alkaline can potentially leak and cause damage to your electronic devices. Well, when you're spending the money that you spend on a device such as this, you want to protect your investment. That's where lithium comes in. It has less chance of leaking and causing real damage. Two, lithium lasts longer, and especially in cold environments, which here in Iowa, we are in the Midwest and can get pretty cold winter and falls. So I think that's important for me. From here, we're going to talk about some other things, all right? We're going to talk about everything that's inside of this unit. So night vision starts with a housing. This PVS14 is the housing made by Noctis, and that is what's going to hold your intensifier tube. The intensifier tube is what does all of the work. Okay, the intensifier tube is what allows you to see at nighttime. From there, you have your objective lens and your diopter. That's what you're going to look through, just like a rifle scope or anything that has lenses. That's how you're going to see the image. When picking an intensifier tube, you have to understand there's a couple different versions. Okay, you have Gen 2 or Gen 2 Plus tubes, which are foreign-made intensifier tubes. And the reason they're foreign made is because due to ITAR, which is a regulation in the United States, Gen 3 is only available to the United States. Okay, Gen 3 is the best that you can get, and it is regulated. So there are two companies known as NNBT and Photonis. NNBT is a company based out of China.
You go over to China, 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 China. You take China.
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 And Photonis is a different company based out of Europe. They both make decent quality night vision intensifier tubes. Photonis is definitely king in that category. They have everything ranging from budget, low-level entry tubes to their 4G high-gain tubes, which are relatively comparable to Gen 3 US-made tubes from either Elbit or L3 Harris. Now, when we're speaking of the intensifier tube, we have to discuss a few things. There are 5 different categories that are going to be of focus when you're looking at intensifier tubes. These 5 categories are FOM, SNR, known as signal to noise ratio. This is probably going to be the #1 most important spec on an intensifier tube when looking for night vision. Number 3 is going to be resolution. Number 4, EBI. And number 5, halo. What we're going to talk about with each one of these is what they mean and how they make the intensifier tube work. Okay, so number 1, FOM. What is it? FOM is figure of merit. Figure of merit is just a way to put a couple numbers together, specifically your SNR and your resolution, to give you a set number. This set number is just to kind of give you a base overall idea of how well this intensifier tube is going to do in the dark. Anything over 2000 FOM is generally considered good. Specifically, mine is a high performance, or generally speaking, high performance intensifier tube. Okay, it is from Elbit. It is a PH tube, and my FOM on this is 2470. So like I just stated, 2000 is considered pretty high, or anything over 2000 is considered good territory. So 2470 is pretty decent. Number 2, SNR, signal to noise ratio. This is one of the most important specs. Anything above 30 is going to give you a very clean image. Mine specifically is going to be 30.5. So I have a good SNR, signal to noise ratio. This is what determines how grainy your image is, and the higher the SNR will mean that there's going to be less snow effect or static that you see in your image, and it's going to give you better quality detail in the dark. Number 3 is going to be resolution. As I said before, when you determine your FOM, it's going to be your SNR, which mine was 30.5, multiplied by your resolution, which is going to be 81 in my case. Most intensifier tubes are going to range anywhere from 62 lines per millimeter to 81 or above. 81 is generally kind of your high number. Mine is on that high end at 81 lines per millimeter. So it can't get much better than that, really. This is excellent resolution for mine, and typical good tubes are going to be anywhere from 64 to 72 in that range. Resolution is how sharp your image is, and you got to remember the higher resolution means you can pick out finer details like wires, branches, or targets in a distance. When you pair that with a high SNR, it's going to give you the finer detail on top of that finer or better resolution in the dark. Okay. 4. EBI, which is equivalent background illumination. This is how your tube affects performance in really dark environments. Lower EBI means the image stays cleaner when there's almost no light. Mine is 0.53. The lower the better, so mine is very good. Anything under 1, or I've been told even anything under 1.5 is considered good quality. Number 5, halo. Halo is how much lights bloom. Like street lights or headlights, lower halo means less distortion around bright lights. Mine is 0.96. Once again, a solid number. Lower is generally better. And last one that we're going to talk about is photocathode sensitivity. This is how efficiently your tube converts light into an image. Higher equals better performance in low light. All right, so mine is 2421, which is going to be a strong performer. While my tube is pretty clean, you can potentially get intensifier tubes that have spots known as blends or blemishes. Most of these are going to be straight from the factory, and there's nothing you can do about it. And generally speaking, as long as it's not in zone 1, then you're fine. And to explain zone 1, so think of your tube as a big circle. Zone 1 is going to be the center of your tube. Zone 2 is going to be the middle ring of the tube, and then zone 3 is going to be the exterior ring of the tube or your image. PH tubes like what I have are on the more high-end line of Elbit tubes, to where you're not really supposed to have any blemishes. Mine has 0 spots on the spec sheet, but I do have one small little speck in zone 3 around the edge that you can't even see unless you're looking at a white wall. So it does not affect your image at all. So what does that mean? Well, my tube is very clean, almost no blemishes, and no noticeable spots, especially in the center where it really matters. From here, we're going to discuss some pros and cons, all right? So, pros of my setup. Well, I have high SNR, which equals a clean image. I have high resolution, which means sharp detail. Low EBI, it performs well in very dark environments. Clean tube, minimal distractions. It's lightweight, relatively speaking. There are lighter housings in the PVS14. Like I said, is an old technology, which is tried and true. It's durable and still used by militaries around the world. But Nocturne makes the Talon, which is a phenomenal housing, and it is exponentially lighter. So if you're looking at a single monocular tube, I would definitely look at Nocturne Industries options, as well as Low Light Innovations, or LLI also has their MH14, which is much lighter than this as well. The cool thing about both of those housings is you can combine them into a bridge system and make a vinyl night vision, where this one you have to use a bridge in order to connect them, and then they're just 2 independent systems that are working together as one. So that's not the greatest, but it gives you dual night vision if you so choose to go that route. Cons of my unit, well, it's still a monocular. Monoculars don't give you as much depth perception. It creates more eye fatigue over long periods, and it's not as immersive as dual tubes. You can struggle in extreme low light without IR, and price versus performance compared to newer white phosphor L3 tubes, you're going to notice that a little bit. One thing I want to talk about with this unit is, again, it's a PVS14, which means that it is a monocular tube. Okay, it is cheaper, it is lighter, and more versatile, and easier entry point as far as financially speaking goes than a dual setup. That being said, dual tube advantages are true depth perception, a more natural vision, less eye strain, and it gives you better situational awareness. I can attest that that is true. But at the end of the day, a high quality monocular like this will outperform a low end dual tube every single time. So if you're looking into getting night vision, the cool thing about the PVS14 or monocular is it's great for first time buyers. It can allow you to get into the game while being budget conscious, and it's great for general use and preparedness. If you're looking at duals, it's easier to run nighttime operations. It gives you a little bit more performance, and this is generally better if you don't have a budget to work with. So, like I was saying, if you are looking to get into this and you wanted binoculars, but you can only afford NNBT tubes, I'm not saying that's a bad option. However, Gen 3 tubes here in America specifically is going to give you the best total outcome that you're looking for. So, like me, I was wanting dual tubes, but I just wasn't at that budget yet. And when I came across this deal and the person worked with me to get it, I just couldn't pass it up. So I got it, and I've been pleasantly happy with it. At the end of the day, there's going to be some things that you have to think about. Okay, what is your mission? What are you trying to accomplish with night vision? Are you going on nighttime walks and hikes? Are you in a more tactical setting? Are you part of a TAC team on a police department? Are you just LARPing with your friends? Are you just using it to look at the stars? These are all going to be important things to ask yourself. Okay? If your budget dictates your mission, well, then look into a PVS14. You can do about 90% with a PVS14 of what you can do with dual night vision. The biggest difference is your depth perception is not going to be as good. The benefits to it, well, you can take it on and off, and it's one unit. You can use it in your hand. But if you need dual night vision, great. The cool thing about this is you can always upgrade later. All right. So from here, at the end of the day, this setup proves you don't need dual tubes to have serious night vision capability. But knowing your specs and how they actually affect performance is what separates wasting money from making the right investment. While talking about all this, I would be remiss if I didn't explain a recent situation that I was able to attend. I've been looking into night vision for quite a while, and I was recently able to take a trip with my dad to Raymond, Missouri to meet up with a company known as GPNVGs. All right, they are night vision builders and sellers, and they put on a free demo night down there, which was phenomenal. So we got to get hands on with all the monocular housings like my PVS14. We were able to get hands on with dual night vision housings, ranging from fixed bridges all the way to the most advanced articulating housings on the market today. And the treat to that was is we also got to finish the night by also checking out a quad or panel housing, specifically the GPNVG 18 from L3. It was awesome. I had a blast with it. Again, it was free to the public, so my dad and I drove, 3 hours to the Kansas City area to be able to do this. And our expenses were pretty low. We just had to spend money on housing as well as food and fuel. But at the end of the day, to be able to attend an event like that, it was just awesome. And to be able to spend that quality time with my dad was something we'll cherish forever. So if you have the option to go to something like that to check out night vision, I would highly recommend it. There are great options on the market today, and being able to get hands-on with all of those and experience them, whether you're looking at white phosphor, green phosphor, anything like that, I would definitely check it out. Also, the guys over at GPNVGs were phenomenal. We met up with Josh. He's one of the sales guys, and we met up for dinner the night before. We also hung out with him during the day of the event, helped him load up the van, and we're just pleased to be able to help them and those guys over there. Also, the owner, Garrett, solid dude, and these guys know night vision. So if you're looking at getting night vision, I would highly recommend the fellas over at GPNVGs. All right, that's about sums it up for this episode, okay? If you like this type of content, make sure to like, subscribe, comment, and help push this content out to others. We are here to inform people, educate people, and hopefully give you some good information that can help people get into hobbies like this. Also, give them good quality gear that's not going to break the bank. If this is the type of stuff that you like, I hope that you enjoyed this episode. And as always, stay safe, stay prepared, and Mr. Tactical out.